My name is Jennifer Miracle Best, and I am a speaker and consultant that teaches people about gender and sexuality. So my background is actually in higher ed. I was a director of an LGBT resource center on a college campus, and so I left there and now do speaking engagements and trainings for college campuses, but also corporate and nonprofit organizations. So when I talk about gender identity, I usually start by talking about sex first and explaining that sex is our biology, it's our anatomical makeup, it's kind of our physical being. And then I talk about how gender identity is who we are in our mind and our spirit. So it is kind of our psychological sense of who we are, and that may align with our sex assigned at birth or it may not. But ultimately it's more about what's up here and in our heart rather than what's in our pants. I think one of the common misunderstandings that I hear a lot is trying to get your mind around how one's gender identity and sexual orientation intersect. We live in a world that kind of assumes that we're in these different boxes, and that if I am a feminine woman, I'm going to like men, and if I'm a masculine man, I'm going to like women, and that they're interdependent, but they're not. And so that's kind of the biggest thing, is people can't get their mind around. A common question that will come around that will be, well, so if someone transitions, then does that mean they're going to still be attracted to the opposite sex, or will they be attracted to the same sex? And so there's this kind of programming in our brain that who we are dictates who we are attracted to, and that's just not the case. I think a common question around pronouns is, generally speaking, people want to do the right thing, and people want to treat people with respect and honor people for who they are. But also, generally speaking, as humans, we never want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, right? We don't like to be wrong. And so that's where kind of the contrast comes in and the conflict, because in order to honor people for who they are, you have to know who they are. And sometimes you have to ask. And in fact, most folks that I know who are transgender say always ask, that it's never necessarily fair to assume, because the way you perceive me is maybe or maybe not going to be accurate. And so the advice that I have always heard is, if you don't know, to ask. Certainly when I started doing this work on a college campus, I had never encountered, to my knowledge, a transgender student. I was actually working on a college campus when we had our first out transgender student coming to campus, and they did an in-service and kind of to prepare the staff about, how do we work with the student, how do we accommodate any kind of special needs they might have. And that was probably 10 years ago. And now it seems like, well, clearly, it's in mainstream. We're seeing, all kinds of folks identifying lots of different ways, non-binary, genderqueer, gender non-conforming. And so just the huge increase in visibility alone in the last even 10 years has been really incredible.